Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas, Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shea Ernshaw. All rights to Nightmare Before Christmas is a Disney-owned product, so I'm not even pretending like I own this. And don't you even pretend like I'm pretending like I own this, because we both know I'm not. Support the official release. Go buy the book. I sense there's something in the wind. That feeling like tragedy's at hand. Oh yeah, that was definitely Sally's line from the movie. At the crisp, inky hour of midnight, Jack and I are married atop Spiral Hill in the death's door ceremony. Wind stir the bone dry leaves, and Jack takes my soft ragdoll hands in his, the coolness of his fingers calming the fluttering rippling across my stitched seams. The mayor stands broad-chested before us, offering the ceremony, his face alternating between corkscrewed eyes against and pale ghostly tears, while he speaks our vows to each other in the grim custom of the ancient wedding. Thence, in the moon is a bloody red in the sky, a good omen, and wilted orchard flowers plucked from the patches of poison ivy at the far end of Halloween Town is tucked just behind my left ear, a custom that ensures a long, dreadful life. I squeeze Jack's hands tighter, his black tucks Ito tail swayed in the cold night air, while my dress, stitched from a scrap of black splintered lace, sewed myself the night before, below like a ghost in the breeze. As when my gaze flickered to the crowd, while I can feel the cold, spiteful eyes of Dr. Finkelstein watching me from the front row, mouth quivering with fury now that I've finally escaped him once and for all. Yeah, I'm terrible at reading. Shut up. I am no longer your creation, I think. Words knotted in my chest. It seems unimaginable that barely a year ago I feared I might spend the rest of my life trapped in Dr. Finkelstein's lab, fated to only ever watch Jack from afar, loving him by certain he would never know the aches I felt whenever I looked my way, whenever he looked my way, but after Jack tried to steal Christmas from Sandy Claus after he nearly died venturing to the human world to deliver our grim presents on Christmas Eve, with Zero leading his sleigh of skeletal reindeers, a plan I sensed was doomed from the start. I knew I couldn't spend my life without him. I knew I would not waste another night under a dark snow under a dark snowflake sky. God, I cannot read. Jack and I walked out to the ceremony, his moonlit eyes sinking into mine, and at last, after a lifetime of loving him from afar, my ragdoll heart aching to know what he would feel like if he ever loved me back. We shared our first kiss in the crest of Spiral Hill, the same place where he and I stood hand in hand. The mayor's face spun back around to reveal his toothy grin from wide-toothy grin, his black widowed bow tie eerily shining in the moonlight as he announced Jack and me as husband and wife. Voices bellowing over the crowd. Jack leans forward, eyes dripped at the edge, and pressing his grave, cold mouth to mine, and my seams feel like they are going to fray and burst, like they couldn't contain the swelling, chest-widening feeling erupting through me, a feeling so strange and unknown and regal, yeah, that it makes me dizzy, makes my head swim, my legs teeter. Jack and I are now married. He swept away the tears streaming down my cotton cheekbone to his chin, and he looks at me as his own chest is about to fracture, and for a moment I'm certain they should just bury us here at the center of the graveyard, married and died on the same day, unable to contain the unspeakable, awful, wondrous emotion breaking against our eyelids. The dreadful residents of Halloween Town applaud, throwing tiny dwarf spiders at our feet as we leave the ceremony, and the warmth in my chest, it feels like bats clamoring for a way out of my rib cage, trying to break me apart. I am now Sally Skeleton, the Pumpkin Queen, and I certainly will never again be as happy as I am right now. Well, that was the epilogue, and yeah, I'm a shitty reader, don't judge me. Well, alright. The evening skylight of Halloween Town is dotted with a tiny pinhole of starlight, and across the town square pumpkins grow a sinister copper orange from Jack's house atop Skull Hill. The town looks different, draped in long, finger-like shadows. The air smells different too, like black licorice, licorice, and raven wings, and a little pumpkin jam. Nothing like the foul stench of sodium chloride and rubbing alcohol that permeates Dr. Finkelstein's lab. A place that was once my home, but also a prison. The memory of it churns inside me, and wind with a feeling that stark relief that I will never again sleep inside that cold, ovilus observational. Never lie awake alone in a narrow, moth-eaten bed, staring through a tiny window up at Jack's house in the distance, daydreaming of living within its walls someday. It feels like a fairy tale from one of those happily ever after books where the princess storms the castle, slays a goblin dragon, and takes over the kingdom for herself, except I'm not a golden-haired or fine-boned. I have no bones at all. I am a rag doll who married a skeleton king, a rag doll who awoke from the impossible daydream and found herself in her own heroine story, a tale whose ending hasn't yet been written, but instead is only just beginning. I leave the trace tracer, yeah, overlooking the town, and move back into the bed I now share with Jack, facing the tall spiderweb cracked mirror leaned against the slanted walls. I run my fingers through my hair, pulling it forward over my shoulders. The scarlet strands, so coffin-stained that they could never be coiled or cleft or pinned up with a bat bow. I press my palms against my patchwork dress, staring at my reflection in the glass, the cross seams along my chest and the smile seam at the corners of my mouth, a place where Dr. Finkelstein stitched me together, needle and thread in sinister midnight conjuring. His creation made in the dark, damp shadows of his lab. A dead leaf pokes out from the seams along the inside of my left elbow, my stuffing's coming loose, and I quickly push it back in place. My threads need to be restitched, leaves gathered and stuffed. "Are you ready?" Jack asked as I turned, and he's standing in our bedroom doorway holding a black velvet suitcase. the bottomless curvant, curvant, curvants of his eyes like graves, I would happily tumble into down, down, down forever without end, a spider, a remnant of our wedding night, skittered free from inside the suitcase and run along the handle before it dropped to the floor and fell into a crack. I had wanted to gather herbs from the garden, nightshade, and the bottle thorns to take with us just in case. But Jack assured me that I would not need such things on our honeymoon. Potions and poisons aren't necessary. Oh, potions and poisons aren't necessary outside of Halloween Town, he had said. There would be no need to poison or put anyone into a deadly sleep, but it's hard for me to imagine a world where such things aren't needed. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty dark, Sally. What the hell? I turned to smile at Jack, the seams of my cheeks stretching wide, and placed my hand around the sturdy bones of his arms. Sturdy bones of his arms. My husband, the man I have loved for so long, at times it felt like it might crack me open. And together we stepped out into the cold twilight of Halloween Town. Like, I get that she's a rag doll and all, but seriously, Finkelstein, you should have done a much better job of stitching her together. Anyway, moving on. At the front gate of our house, guarded by two iron cats, two iron cats, spines raised back. Jack pushed open the gate to face the waiting crowd eager to catch a glimpse of the newlywed king and queen, and he clears his throat. My wife Sally and I are off on our honeymoon, he announces, grinning, showing his kernel teeth. I don't remember him having corn kernel teeth. Whatever. We'll be back tomorrow. If anything should happen, the mayor will be in charge. The mayor, who stood besides one of the fanged metal cats, jerked his shoulders back at the same moment. His face spun around, revealing the downturned slope of his crooked mouth and the deep worry in his small eyes. Is that such a good idea, Jack? He asked nervously. Yeah, no shit. Remember what he did last time he was in charge. Perhaps someone else should be in charge. Or maybe we should elect a committee. I'm not sure I can delegate. Oh, I'm sure I cannot make decisions if any important matters were to arise, or you could delay your honeymoon until after Halloween. It's only 2 weeks away, he reminds Jack. Like, he's the mayor. People elected him. He should be able to take care of shit without Jack holding his hand all the time. Spring is a perfect time for a trip, or better yet, just skip the honeymoon altogether. Okay, like, he grew some serious cojones. You're telling the king not to go on his honeymoon? I'm pretty sure that's how you're going to lose your two-faced head there, buddy. You'll do great, Jack said, clapping the mayor on his shoulder. Okay. The mayor briefly revealed his smiling face as for the second half. Oh, for half a second he believes he's up for the task before his features ravel back around, lips a grim blue, worry rimming from his terror-struck eyes. But Jack is unfazed by the mayor's apprehension. It's nothing new, and we made our way through the crowd. Jack shaking hands, accepting the congratulations of the townsfolk, who shuddered, shuffled, whatever, too close, crushing against us, crashing against us. Okay, they shuffled closer and closer. Hands reaching out to see us, but I slunk back. The eyes of everyone on me felt like thorns stabbing against my lines, leans, flesh, pulling me apart bit by bit. I'm not used to the attention. The whites of their eyes like hollowed out ghosts peering into my empty soul, judging, appraising Sally, the rag doll, our pumpkin queen. There's a festering, there is a festering thought inside me. Perhaps they all think I'm not worthy of the title. A rag doll should never be queen. A rag doll who should go back to the darkness of Finkelstein's lab, cold and isolated and alone. Sally, you basically saved the day in the movie there, girl. I don't know why you have such self-doubts. Whatever. They look at me like they're considering eating me whole. Not very filling, I would imagine. Some of them probably would. Yeah, I can see it. But then I catch a flash of white and my left. Oh, cat. But then caught a flash of white to my left, and Zero appeared, pushing through the onlookers to nudge me in the elbow with his glowing jack-o'-lantern nose. I stroked his ghostly white coat, the soft, transparent feeling of his fur, his saging ears, the tightness in my chest calms, and he smiles his loose, open dog grin. To Zero, I'm no different than I was yesterday before I got married to Jack and became queen. So is Zero part therapy dog now? Yeah, I can see it. He did in the movie with Jack quite a lot. With Zero hovering at my side, I followed Jack through the town center, ducking through the least last that's least of the crowd, just as Lock, Shock, and Barrel, also knowing woefully as Boogie's boys, shouted, "We'll miss you, Pumpkin Queen." I mean, you got married. That is your official title now. You are the Pumpkin Queen, Sally. They've removed their trick-or-treating disguises, revealing their true faces, which are somewhat perplexing. Identically? Oh, perplexingly identically to their masks. God, I'm tired. Never read when you're sleepy, people. Equals. And they grinned like the young children they are. Yet there is also a sly, crafty undertone hidden in their shimmering eyes that could never be trusted. It isn't their grins or their scheming Goo Googles? Oogles that sent a chill down my uneven stitching of my spine. However, it's the name they called me, Pumpkin Queen. You already got married, Sally. You are the queen. If you can't accept that, move on or move out. Dang, girl. It's the first time I've heard it said aloud, and it rings in my ears all the way to the forest, to hinterlands. And the grove of 7 trees. Oh, yeah, the Christmas doors. God, I'm an idiot. Are you sure it's safe? I asked Jack, his face marred? Married? Marred by shadows. Marred? What the heck is that word? From the towering, spinning branches overhead. There is no wind on our walk through the woods, yet now the circle of trees shiver and vibrate, beckoning us closer. Jack tapped his fingers on the door with a perfect heart painted, but a buttery pink carved into the center. Um, okay. We are standing in the circular grove of 7 trees that lead to 7 holidays, where last year Jack slipped into Christmas Town and kidnapped Sandy Claus. If the music to this was not copyrighted, I swear I'd be blaring in the background right now. I've never been outside Halloween Town, never ventured beyond its borders, and I spun around now, slightly breathless, marveling at each strange carved tree, each with its own particular doorway. Hmm. A green four-leaf clover adored the tree for St. Patrick's Day. Hey! A red firecracker for the 4th of July. What does an American independence have to do with it? You know what? Whatever. Moving on. A giant turkey marked the entrance to Thanksgiving. I'd probably go with that one. All the free food I can eat. Geet. Oh, God. A pale painting of an egg for Easter, and a Christmas tree with tiny bulbs and lights led to Christmas Town. And lastly, a grinning orange pumpkin for our home, Halloween Town. After a pause, Jack stepped towards the painted heart doorway. A pink and white striped box set near the tree trunk, the trunk of the tree. Of course, he answered, and I can hear the excitement in his voice. He's been to all the holidays, all the towns except this one. He's been saving this tree for me. I imagine Valentine's Town will be more wondrous than all the rest. And now we'll see it together. He kisses he kisses the back of my hand, eyes thumping into mine, trembling into mine. Then he tugged open the heart-shaped door nested in the tree trunk. A wind coils out from inside, soft and warm, smelling faintly of sugar cookies and wild roses. I like how he saved Valentine's Day door for her so they can experience it together. That's actually pretty romantic, Jack. You're a man of culture, a man of class. I never smelled anything so wondrous. Still, nervously, I spun the bone white wedding band on my finger, my eyes tracing the deadly nightshade vines engraved along the outer edges, a plant that has meant freedom for me and a way to escape Finkelstein each time I poison each time I'm sorry, that's dark. Each time I poisoned him with nightshade from the garden. You are free now. My God. Remind myself because although there is a buzzing of curiosity in my chest, there is also nervous crows fluttering, nervous crow's wings flapping in my stomach. I just can't get over the fact she used to poison him all the time. I'm sorry. But when I lifted my gaze to Jack, his moonless eyes settled the restless crows, and the corners of my mouth tipped upwards. I trust you, I said, because I do more than anything. Jack nodded, stepping stepping his long spidery legs through the opening of the door and pulls me in after him. I'm sorry, I still can't get over the fact she used to poison him. Oh my God. All right, well, that's going to be it for right now. I'll have to pick this up later. Oh my God, I'm not going to lie, that was pretty good though. I like that he saved Valentine's Day for him and Sally to explore together. Still think Shala needs to grow a spine. I mean, she's the queen now, and she technically saved the day in the movie. I also love how she herself even admits that she's the poison Dr. Finkelstein. All right. Thank you for your time and have a good night. I'm going to finish this book at a later date, but I seriously suggest everyone pick up a copy of it as soon as they can. Uh, Long Live the Pumpkin Queen by Shea Erensio? Erensio? I'm not even sure how you pronounce her name, but you can Google it later.